few seconds between V and Jungkook has fans talking at BTS's Day 1 show in Baltimore. Jungkook appeared to reach out to V for a playful moment on stage. A dance, maybe an embrace, and V seemed to pull back, keeping his distance instead of joining in. It's barely a few seconds of footage, but V and Jungkook have such a well-known habit of goofing around on stage, mirroring moves, cracking each other up, standing close together mid-song, that the moment stood out the second fans spotted it and started clipping it for social media. What the clip actually shows, Jungkook kept his energy up through the moment, working the crowd and the rest of the members the way he usually does. V, meanwhile, stayed focused on his own spot in the choreography and didn't lean into the exchange. Depending on which camera angle you catch it from, the gap between them looks bigger or smaller. Some clips make it look like a clear brush off, others barely register it as anything unusual. That inconsistency across angles is part of why opinions online are split. Some fans think it's obviously a deliberate distancing. Others think it barely qualifies as a moment at all outside of a tightly cropped fan cam. A handful of frame-by-frame breakdowns have already made the rounds, each one arriving at a slightly different read depending on where the clip starts and ends. Why people are reading into it was V just locked into the choreography and didn't catch the invitation in time. Was it fatigue partway through a long set? Or just an offbeat that didn't land the way these moments usually do between them? Nobody outside the two of them actually knows, and neither has said a word about it publicly. That silence is a big part of why the clip has legs. Fans have years of footage to compare this to. Countless shows where the two have joked around, matched each other's movements, or just stood close together without a second thought. When a familiar pattern breaks, even for a couple of seconds, it's natural for longtime viewers to notice and start asking questions, especially in a fandom that pays this much attention to detail. It also doesn't help that the moment happened at a fairly visible point in the set, with the spotlight already on that part of the stage. Had it happened in a busier, more crowded formation, it likely would have gone unnoticed entirely. The case for not overreacting concerts are chaotic behind the polish. Blocking changes, in-ear cues, spotlight timing, cameras cutting constantly from one member to another. A gesture that looks pointed in a fan cam clip can look completely unremarkable from a different seat, a different angle, or with the 10 seconds of context before and after it included. One reserved beat in one show isn't solid evidence that anything has actually changed between two people with over a decade of stage history together. It's also worth remembering that idols don't owe fans a consistent performance of closeness every single night. Energy levels shift, focus shifts, and what looks like emotional distance from one clip could just as easily be someone concentrating on hitting a mark or catching their breath before the next section of the set. Anyone who has watched enough live concert footage knows that members occasionally misjudge timing, get distracted mid-transition, or simply have an off moment that has nothing to do with how they feel about each other. How fans are reacting online reaction has split roughly into two camps. One side is treating it as a minor curiosity, the kind of thing that gets talked about for a day or two and then fades once the next tour stop produces new footage. The other side is treating it as the start of a bigger conversation about whether the group's on-stage dynamics have shifted at all since their most recent hiatus in individual promotions, given how much less stage time they've collectively logged together in the past couple of years. Neither interpretation is unreasonable on its own, but neither is confirmed either. And that gap between reaction and actual information is exactly what tends to keep threads like this alive far longer than the original clip probably warrants. Where this leaves things fun to speculate about? Sure, but until V or Jungkook actually address it, and there's no guarantee they will, this is best treated as one ambiguous moment rather than a sign of anything bigger. If a similar moment shows up again at future stops on the tour, that pattern might be worth a second.